welcome back to the Speedy Expo 2022, live from Liverpool. And I always say I'm really happy, but I'm really happy because it's another woman, Ellie Armour, joining me on the sofa. Now, Ellie, you are responsible for all the people within Speedy. Is that right?
That's right.
That sounds like a big job.
I know. With a title like Chief People Officer, it means, it is an important role, really. I'm the gatekeeper of fairness. That's the way I describe myself, and it's my personal mantra. So my role is about ensuring that we look after everybody at Speedy, that everybody feels welcome, included, and we kind of operate across the different functions of human resources. So talent and development, really important for people and their careers, so just helping them be the best that they can be in the role that they currently fulfil. But equally, if people want to climb the ladder and want to be promoted, then we have put the career paths in place and the support to be able to take people to those particular goals that they're looking to achieve.
Because this is much more than just sort of personnel hiring, firing contracts, isn't it? I mean, what you do on a day-to-day basis. I mean, give me some extreme examples of the type of thing that you would actually have to do.
So in my role personally, it could be involved in helping win a contract in the first instance, because people work with people and they want to understand what we do with our own people to inspire them to deliver the best possible customer service. So I could be in a big type environment. I could be out with the teams, which is what I enjoy most. So that could be in a coaching role alongside a newly appointed director or somebody that is looking to get into an even more senior post, and out with them, but with their teams, meeting the people, understanding the challenges, the roles that they fulfil out within the depot environment. Could be in central functions, we could be involved in big brainstorming workshops. Typically, any job will involve the people of Speedy, and therefore our function gets involved. So at the moment we're doing a massive trial around flexible working. So we want to be able to attract people to join Speedy, and it's been typically an engineering construction-led business with operators working 45-hour-a-week contracts. That's not particularly attractive to young people looking to join this type of environment, and it's not attractive to our own colleagues that have been fulfilling that for some time. So where we want to go is actually working with the operator, saying, well, okay, how can we run the depots differently? How can we make it more attractive? How can we have a combination of part-time working, flexible hours, 9-day fortnights, 4.5-day working weeks, rather than what we've always done traditionally?
Presumably, not only is it not attractive, but actually you're just simply not getting the best out of the people who you have in your team, and you end up with people leaving and who otherwise could be contributing so much more.
Yeah, for so many people it's been the norm and they haven't known any different. But I think off the back of the pandemic in particular, where a lot of people spent quality time with their families, there's been a real change in mindset. And for quite some time here at Speedy, we've been working on our wellbeing agenda. And as part of that, this work-life balance is really, really important. I think it's been amplified by the pandemic, and people have started talking to us, well, I don't want to be away from my family so much. I want to be able to get back and spend time with the kids. I want to spend time with my partner. I want to be able to visit family. So this flexible working is all part of supporting the wellbeing agenda, really looking after our people, helping with that balance. I spoke to them yesterday at our conference with regards to compensation. So we've started with from a very low base, and as our business grows, we want to be able to reinvest in pay, but one needs to track the other. But for a lot of people I speak to in the network, pay isn't the number one priority. The number one priority is being able to, have a much better work-life balance, and that's part of what we've been doing in a lot of the projects that we've been involved in trying to help the business do something different with people that attracts them in the first place, but then once we have them, people are retained, because it's not about working with great Speedy family members, it's about actually that we take into account their own family too.
Because the mantra of Speedy is people first.
Yes.
How different and radical is that within this type of industry, that you have that sort of focus?
I think what's quite unique about Speedy is there is this spirit, and I'm sure a lot of other people you've interviewed have spoken about it. And despite whatever anybody does in this business, there is this spirit of camaraderie, which is one for all and all for one. And there isn't anybody that wouldn't do something to be able to help you be successful, whether that be personally or for your customer. But we've sort of done that sort of naturally. What we now need to do is build upon that and give people tools to be able to really put people front and centre. So naturally, they put people first. However, in things like the way in which we employ and the way in which we onboard people into our business, we will need to change those things. We need to dial up the way in which we transact with one another. We haven't traditionally been a very digital type business. So to be able to have access to all sorts of training, not just the training for my job, but for career development and enhancement, I need to be able to access different digital technologies. If it's around being able to access mentoring so that I can be the best that I can be, but be able to actually talk to somebody else from a different department entirely. Communicating to people in all different ways is something that we've really changed, because some people like to just be spoken to by their manager and want to understand what Speedy's doing. Other people want to be able to just, like they do on Facebook, scroll through news. Other people would like to receive a brief or an email. So we're really having to take a look at what the different communities of Speedy want from a communication point of view, which is something that we're, is really shifting the dial to put people front and centre. What is it you want, and how can we make it better for you, rather than us in the executive board sitting there thinking, well, we think this is what everybody needs and what we should be doing.
This is such a departure, isn't it, for companies, for big employers to even be thinking like this?
Yeah, I think, construction in particular and engineering is very traditional, and would probably be described as being a bit slower to the party than some other types of businesses like media and marketing type businesses. But I've been in this field now for a long time, and the business wants to change. It wants to do things differently, but it doesn't know how. And I think what Speedy has done really well in the last sort of 5 years of bringing people from outside of construction, outside of engineering. So my background is in logistics, in retail, hospitality, facilities management, engineering, and now into the world of hire. So in the last few years I have been connected, but actually having come from a completely different background, where communication is done completely differently, where contracts are put together completely differently of employment. This business is now saying, well, how do they do it? How do the big retailers, retailers have hundreds of thousands of colleagues.
Yeah.
We have just over 3,600 here at Speedy. Why can't we do as good a job of communicating as they do? So we've had to move forward with our technology. But what they get right is that they have people that are in one place. So if we talk about, a retail store, the people are there. If they're in a head office, they're there. You can talk to them. But in a business like ours, we've got a lot of remote colleagues. They're not coming into a depot. They're not coming into an office every day. And now with hybrid working in particular and flexible working, they're not here every day. So technology, but giving people the confidence to manage that technology, have it on their personal phone or their Speedy device, is what we really need to encourage.
We can't not talk about women within the company. It's been wonderful. It's wonderful actually just to have you as a single woman, rather than even just you and somebody else. Because what struck me here is that even though construction is perceived as such a male-dominated sort of world, actually I'd say the people I've spoken to, it's been pretty equitable so far, which is phenomenal. You must be very proud of that, and certainly some of the people I've met from Speedy and your graduates, it really has been remarkable.
Yeah, there has been a massive shift change. We have a committee called Plus, people like us, that are really passionate about gender balance. So branched off from equality, diversity and inclusivity committees, we really want to focus on gender balance and what we can do different. And you used the word there, male dominated. We're trying to change some of that language as well, because we're not dominated by males, but we are predominantly made up of males. Yeah, they don't dominate us. In actual fact, our committee is made up of males and females that are really wanting to say, well, how do we attract women into this industry? Because we kind of think about engineering as being dirty, heavy, difficult, depots being cold, tired environments. And we are, if we take some of the depots that we've refurbished, that we've developed, the great Milton Keynes Innovation Centre, we are changing the work environment. Now look, we've still got a lot of depots that we do need to upgrade, but gradually changing the work environment so it would be a place that women absolutely would want to go and work. I think all of the guys that work at Speedy, would, embrace with open arms more female engineers, more female drivers. But what we've got to do as an industry is to be able to attract women in the first place to want to look at a job in engineering, in driving, in hire controlling. The issue that comes from, the sort of the bare kind of bones right back at the beginning in terms of our education, I wouldn't have known anything really about construction other than, well, that is, men on sites, lots of concrete and cement mixers and heavy steel. Therefore, that wouldn't be a place that I would be able to physically be able to work. The world has changed, construction isn't all about the heavy machinery and heavy lifting. And indeed, I met, our young engineer of the year was a female that won the award, which was absolutely brilliant. And what she was telling me was that all of this really heavy stuff, I don't lift it physically. We have machinery that lifts it. And actually, quite often if there's like a bolt that can't be undone, normally I loosen it for the guys. So she was like, we're not expected, the men aren't expected to lift it either. So there's equipment that supports us with that. So I think there's a whole kind of misunderstanding about what it's about. And of course, here at Speedy, I've got over 400 job titles working in and around the business, which demonstrates a number of different types of career opportunities that are here. And we have specialist engineers that are doing more technical, computerised and computer-led work. So in which case that isn't physical, that's more technical. So engineering is becoming a little bit more interesting to women, but what we're doing is working with education. I've got ambassadors that kind of work locally with different colleges, schools, universities to be able to attract young people into Speedy. And companies like the Youth Group, which we're going through a verification process at the moment to become youth verified, whereby we're seen as a business that can host, facilitate careers for young people. So they're helping us be better at attracting and readying ourselves to take on new people, but equally we're working with them to create opportunities in our industry.
It's opportunity and the right environment and the right attitude, it's everything, isn't it?
Exactly.
Well, it's exciting times. Ellie, thank you so much for popping up and having a chat with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.